came to exit, even though I didn't want to take the offer, it's in seven figures. I took the
fine.
offer, but that hard lesson led me to a decision of understanding that, yes, I did the first business purely out of grit. I put in the time. It didn't matter if it's a Saturday, Sunday, didn't matter if it's 10 p.m. at night. But that is not a way to sustain and scale rapidly. So it's all about systems and operations. And that's what I focused on for my current business and prior businesses after that.
I hope you guys are writing notes, because I know a lot of you entrepreneurs out there, in your current business, in a new business, you can take this on. 16 to 23, she sold a business at seven figures. It's telling me, I'm going to say, if that can happen with you, Azgari, it can happen with anybody with
Exactly
the right actions and decisions and all that.
Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness.
Shout out to my sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, so why not optimize it? Just text optimize to 72000, 72000 for instant access to 6 quick videos that help you think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer. A big thanks to Epic App, the 4-step storytelling system I use every day to connect and to convert. Try it free. Email me at stever1961@gmail.com. That's stevr1961@gmail.com, and I'll get you the free app. Doing Business with a Servant's Heart was just named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and let's start out with our gratitude, the new thing I'm starting in 2026, but I'm starting in the end of 2025. A little gratitude for you today. I've got these cards. I pull one out randomly. Today it says, thanks for spreading sunshine wherever you go. An audience, thank you for doing that. And guess what?
Beautiful.
That's perfect. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
Our audience, our guest, my guest, I'm so excited there, is going to bring a lot of sunshine to you in so many great ways. So let's bring her on. Azgari, welcome to the show.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you so much for having me. I can already tell this is going to be a fun hour.
It is. And we could go now. We won't go, audience, don't worry, but we might have to bring her back for a sequel. I think we're going to do that. But we're going to start with your book because it's got such a cool title. What was the story behind the title?
So I'm a millennial. I'm not as cool as a Gen Z, but I have a lot of people on my team that are Gen Zs. And, as soon as they onboard my team and I educate them on finances and how we impact our clients' lives, one of the things that most of them just kept saying is, you know what? Apparently this is a new term that Gen Zs use. Boring. So as if that's considered the new way of saying, oh, that's so cool.
And I'm not a Gen Z, obviously. Look at me, I'm 64.
Yeah, you and I had the same face. I was like, oh, okay. So that's what the cool kids are calling cool these days. And that's where the title comes from.
Crazy. Well, tell us about the book, because I went through a little bit. It's very, very interesting.
Thank you. So, I am all about large corporations. I work with a lot of large corporations. But what's been happening with our economy the last several years is the advancements in software and technology and AI. It's making our jobs easier, but it's at the same time secretly taking away a ton of employment. Unemployment is at a drastic high. One of the best ways to combat that is to go into small business entrepreneurship. to own your own time again, to have a business where now all the software and the technology, which potentially has gotten you into unemployment or being laid off, now you can leverage and actually make money. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
So that's what the book actually teaches you, how to leverage small business to create not only financial freedom, but respect and earn your time back.
So that person listening, and have a lot to do, even some stay-at-home moms who are looking to start a business as they're with their children, which I think is, if you have time,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a mom, but I'm not a female, so I don't know. But I know if, you could put 20 hours a week in and put another 500 in your pocket to pay some bill, it makes a difference.
Huge.
You lived this. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you started your first company at 16 years old. You look 20, so you started it 4 years ago. But tell us about that story.
Well, it started for a very selfish reason. I wanted to buy a car, and I didn't have enough money to buy a car, 16, and my father wouldn't give me the money because he was scared that his little girl was going to get in a car accident. I was very little, barely 4.5 foot. So he's like, you're not even going to be able to see through the, you don't need to drive. We'll drive you where you need to go. But me being myself, I was like, nope, I need a car. I did the math. If I got a job at McDonald's or Taco Bell and I made $3, $4 an hour, there was no way I was going to buy that car before I turned 80. So, so I had to think about, well, what can I do to quickly make $10,000? I think the differentiator there is even at 16, in my mind, not for a minute did I think $10,000 is a lot of money. I know to a lot of kids at that age, or even adults, right? They cap their mindset at what is too much. And they're always right. They never go past it. But I didn't have that, luckily. So because I was so focused on, I need to make this $10,000 to buy this car, I started looking at what can I do? What can I sell? What can I, job's not going to do it. There's no job that's going to pay me enough. Long story short, because my family was in manufacturing space, I had enough mentors. I had amazing guides who, as I came up with ideas, they were able to give me real life feedback on, okay, yes, you want to do this. These are the action steps you can take to make this happen. So the idea I came up with at the time was to have a supplement brand that was geared specifically for teenagers to focus during exams. So having mental focus without going to a doctor and taking ADHD medication, which was important to me. I wanted something natural. So I come up with an idea to do a single herb supplement line. Went ahead and got all the certification, visited a bunch of factories that sold supplements, literally knocking on the outside door of factories. And then asking to talk to supervisors and managers who are just looking at this little girl, like, what is going on? Asking to talk to the owners of these factories and insisting that, please, I have to. Long story short, I end up with enough used equipment from these factories, getting the state and government licensure certifications, and create my own brand. Long story short, within 8 months, I did make my first $10,000.
Wow. At 16, and we've got 30, 40, 50-year-olds going, I can't do that. And I've talked to them. Oh, I can't do that. I got to stay 8 to 5. What's interesting about all this is you kept asking, which I talk about all the time with entrepreneurs. Ask, but you accepted the no and kept moving forward. You didn't let that no push you back, right? Like, no, Azgari, you can't do that. Like, oh, I can't do this. And you moved on to just went back to school. Talk about that mentality and mindset.
Just genuinely being curious all the time. Okay, if this is a no, then if I do it this way, will that be a yes?
Yeah.
just being curious. And You said it right 2 minutes ago. It's Jesus says the same thing, right? Ask and you shall receive. It is the same thing. Keep asking, because every no is going to get you closer to a yes. Somebody will be mesmerized by your tenacity or your naivety, one or the other, and give you either the answers or the resources you need.
That's a powerful message.
I mean, sure. I think I went to over 43 different factories before I had 5 equipments.
You had 42 no's in a sense.
Yes.
43 no's.
And not just no, almost offended. Like, what am I asking for? Why am I here? Why am I trying to waste their time?
Yeah.
They have a factory to run. They have a business to run. Why am I here?
This is big for me. I'm going to be very selfish here because I want to relate this to people, because I mentor entrepreneurs. I love helping them. So let's take one of those meetings with a manufacturing firm. You go and meet, ask what you're asking for, and they are not just no, offensive no's. What was your mindset when you walked out to go to wherever you went to go to the next place? When you walked out of that office, what was your mindset?
So I think I would say first 6 or 7, it was more of me not even knowing what to ask, right? Even me having my ask more refined. So every time I would walk out of the first 6 or 7, it was more like, oh, I should have said this way, because I think they didn't understand this part. So let me say this part differently next time. It was always from a mindset of, I did something not how I should have. So how do I improve it for the next one? I didn't have the mindset of, oh man, I effed up, or I didn't do it right, or oh my God, did you see how they looked at me? Or oh, I think they think I'm crazy. I'm asking for equipment and I didn't even know the right names for any of the equipment. I didn't even know what I needed. So I didn't let those embarrassments or cringe moments stop me. I just kept asking better questions until I got to a point where what I was saying translated into okay, so this is what she's wanting to do. This is what she's lacking. This is an area I can help her, and it will actually advantage me as well. So articulating that last piece of how I can tie in what I'm wanting to how it will benefit them. I think that was coming up with that messaging point, that was the shift.
You're so powerful. You're so wonderful, because a no is just a no. And audience, here's a phrase I use. You'll understand this. What you think about me is none of my business. So they offended you. What's this crazy girl, 16, coming to my office? That's what your thoughts are, but it's none of my business. You can think that, and you moved on, and you learn from these no's.
Every no is exciting because it's telling you something you did that you can tweak and make better.
Every no is exciting. Say that again. I want people to hear that.
Every no is exciting because it's pointing you to how to make it better.
Yeah.
How to make your messaging better, how to make your offer better.
Resources, what equipment you need to get, whatever that is, you kind of use it as your school. Right. Okay, I'm going to get in the supplement industry. What do I need?
All I had was an idea that this is something I wish I had before I took exams so that I can focus on it. And then I asked my other friends, people who would be potential clients. So I didn't just design a product. I asked my direct clients or customers, future customers, what it is that they would want. And is this something that they actually need? I think that's something a lot of entrepreneurs forget. They come up with an idea like, oh, I'm going to do this business. Okay, great. Do you know who your customer is and if they actually want this?
Powerful. I don't think a lot of people are doing it. I know the people I'm talking to aren't doing that, because passion leads business, and it's important. You're passionate about making 10,000. That's what led you. It's powerful. So what happened with the company? And now this is selfishly asking, can you tell us how much you made? Did you sell it? Of course, you got your car, but what else?
I kept it for 7 years. And I was working, I would say 16 hours, 20 hours a day. So I burned myself after 7 years, I would say. And I lost a lot of personal things along the way because of that. So when the offer came to exit, even though I didn't want to take the offer, it's in seven figures. I
Yeah,
took the
fine.
offer, but that hard lesson led me to a decision of understanding that yes, I did the first business purely out of grit. I put in the time. It didn't matter if it's a Saturday, Sunday, didn't matter if it's 10 p.m. at night. But that is not a way to sustain and scale rapidly, right? So it's all about systems and operations. And that's what I focused on for my current business and prior businesses after that.
I'm loving this because you just taken that curve for an entrepreneur and you flattened it. I hope you guys are writing notes because I know a lot of you entrepreneurs out there, in your current business, in a new business, you can take this on. And audience, let's recap that real quick. 16 to 23, she sold a business at 7 figures. I want you to let that absorb that a little bit. It's telling me, I'm going to say, if that can happen with you, Azgari, it can happen with anybody with
Exactly.
the right actions and decisions and all that. We're not going to get into that. We don't have 2 hours, which I know you could. And by the way, she's a speaker. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a company, have her come out and speak for your company because this is big stuff. So let's dive into the audience and go, what is that first step they should take to start this business, start a business?
Fall forward. Make a decision, you're going to fall forward. It's like having a baby. You don't need to know how that baby got made. You
Yeah.
don't need to know all the intricate details. You make a decision. I'm going to be a parent. And you do it. And you learn as you go. And you set an intention as you're going that you're going to be a good parent. Then that intention leads you to direction of what would a good parent look like for you, right? A business is exactly the same way. You got to take that first step of saying, I'm going to do this. That's where most people get stuck. They're either too smart for their own good, or they have so much information overload that they can't make a decision that I'm going to start without knowing all the answers. That would be
Passion
the
and
first
purpose.
step. Just start.
Yeah, start. Yeah, I love that. And passion and purpose are only part of it. That doesn't build a business. The
No,
business side, like everything you said, it's important, and I know people run businesses they're passionate about, and that's their thing. I would never do it. And it sounds like you
100%.
wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't do that either. Well, let's jump to this further. So I'm starting this business. How do I find the kind of business I start?
So unless you're looking to start a Facebook, right, a unicorn, which I hope you're not, because that's that's a whole different conversation. If you're looking to just start a business that's going to sustain your family and give you a high quality of life, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Look for benchmarks. Look for business models that have already made money, that align with your goals. So I'll use a real life example. I have a current client that I'm helping launch his own company. And when he came to us, he had no idea what kind of business. All he knew is, I'm 43. I just got divorced 2 years ago. I want a business that I can leave to my kids. He wanted his kids to be proud of him. He works as a director, right? So it's not like the man doesn't make enough money. He makes well over 150. But he understood being a director of a large corporation, that's probably his cap. He's not going to make a whole heck of a lot. Maybe another 100,000 over the next 10 years annually, right? So he knew he needed to do a business. He had no idea what kind of business. So we did a full thorough analysis of his local market, North Carolina, discovered 5 different models that meet his financial criteria. He wanted a business where he could generate around 250 annually for himself, net margin. So we kind of did the math backwards, right? What type of revenue does a business need to generate for him to have 250 net margin as the business owner. And based on that, we came up with a business model. Then we looked at specific benchmarks for that model in his local city. And it just made sense. That's how we decided. And that's how I decide for every single one of my clients.
You are, I don't know if you use coach as your word, advisor, consultant. You're the perfect person for what we were just talking about earlier.
Thank you.
Passion, purpose, excited. I want to get out of my job. I don't want to be a director. Thank you for that great story. But this is not a Google, YouTube DIY. Search on YouTube and go, how do I start a business? And I know people that do that. Nothing against you, but your path is journey is going to be much longer. So you come in and go, hey, Steve, what do you want to do? And I'm saying, I would love to be a mindset coach. And then you work through that, one, to make sure it's a fit for me. And two, is it going to fit my financial needs? Did I say that right? Sounds like I said it right. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I actually had another client. Do we have time for another story?
Oh, yes, bring it on. I love stories.
Okay, so this is another client. She's 70 years old. 70 years old, executive, very high power executive. She's getting ready to retire now. And she's like, I've wanted to start my own company for the last 35 years. I've just not had the courage to do it. But now I want to do it. And I want to do a co-working space where people can come and work and I can hang out with them and help them and guide them. And I was very honest with her. I said, I'm not sure if that's the best business model for you, but we will do our research and give you a genuine answer back. But are you open, if it's not the right model, to go with a different model that may be a better fit? She was open to it. So she's out of Miami. And as you, I'm sure, know, Miami is booming. Every single new high rise, and there was 208 new ones that were launching this year, that all had co-working space. So there was no way a new co-working space that's separate that you have to pay a monthly subscription for was going to be successful. So I went back with her and, Lydia, this is not going to work, but based on your expertise, here's a model where it will align with clients coming to you, where you're able to guide them, you're able to see them every day. Let's go with this model. And she was happy because it met her emotional need, right? But at the same time, financially, it's going to be viable.
I see why you wanted to be on this podcast. Because audience, what she just did there was the servant's heart. By saying no, you can still say no when you serve people, but you don't still say no and say, and it's not bad you do this, like, hey, sorry, it's not going to fit, have a great life. You went the deeper, further in the service by saying, hey, 70-year-old, here's an option I think is better. I love that you said that, because I talk about all the time, a servant heart does say no. You truly are that servant's heart. And maybe you'd make a lot more money with the first option.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Money was not your, see, it was absolutely, you had no doubt you'd make more money, but you were more important serving and impacting her than your company. That is a powerful message.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a fiduciary duty. All of us people who call ourselves consultants, coaches, guide, whatever we want to call ourselves, we have a duty to not just give people what they want, but actually guide them to what's going to be best for them, right? If they knew what's best for them, they wouldn't be coming to us.
We have a duty. That's a great phrase I've never heard before. I use the mechanic story all the time. My car breaks down, the engine, I don't know how to change the engine. I go to a good mechanic. Now we're going to have bad mechanics, that's the world as it is. But if you go to my good mechanic that I know, I'm not going to tell them, don't put the engine here, put it here. I'm not the expert. You come to you can set the game plan up. I just need to execute it. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So what's the myths of people starting a business that you've seen?
Myths?
The negative myths, you shouldn't start a business because this or this.
So people don't know how to use or leverage smart financing and funding options that are available to them. yes, of course, you can't start a business with no money, right? You need to have skin in the game. But based on what you already have, you might be able to leverage what you have and start with very low capital. So I think there's a lot of confusion around funding, and that's one of the biggest reasons that holds people back. They don't want to lose their funding, whatever savings they have. And then also, how do I even know how much money I need? Because a lot of times people think what they need to start a business is just for the launch piece. What they don't account for is the run rate, right? Because a lot of times you may have a great business model, but you didn't account for enough run rate, maybe 6 months, maybe 18 months, depending on your business. And then you ran out of money before the business had a chance.
I always say, because I help businesses as well, a good business will be in debt. Debt is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, right? You're the expert. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Depending on the business. Only one example is certain small service businesses, which you can become cash flow positive the first month.
Yeah. A plumbing company, you do 20 jobs, you put 30,000 in the bank, you can pay your employees, and you end up with 10. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not every case that you should be.
Yes, exactly. Very few cases.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. See, the end of the show was so smart. Let's end with a fun question. The time flew. This was just beautiful. You're just wonderful. So I'm going to reserve a table at a restaurant, your favorite restaurant. Me and you're going to sit at that table. I want you to invite 3 people who've been influential in your life, whether they're dead or alive, doesn't matter. But more importantly, Azgari, I want to know what kind of food we're going to eat when we sit at that table.
It better be a buffet because I like trying different things.
Beautiful. Let's do it. I love it.
My 3 biggest mentors are my brother, my father, and my boyfriend.
Amen.
That's beautiful. Everybody says behind every great man, there's a woman. I would say for me, it's been some great men, great mentor.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Steven.
Amazing. Steven, if you hear this podcast, you're going to hear me say this. Please give her a hug after this podcast because you scored a major coup, well, not a coup, major score here. So what a fantastic, I can tell family's really important to you. Azgari, we're going to bring you back. We'll talk after the show. We got to do a sequel. You're just wonderful. I know people listening want to reach out to you. How can they connect with you?
Azgari.com.
Okay. See, makes it simple. Servant's heart, make it simple. Don't make it complex if you don't have to. Make it simple. With that being said, and thanks again, Azgari, for being a guest and taking your time. Podcasts are the gifts of life. And people look at you, you're being crazy again, Steve. No, I'm not. This is a perfect example. Subscribe to a podcast, whether it's Doing Business, Servant's Heart, or others, because as you're listening, and we're in the holiday season, and you're going to a bunch of parties and New Year's and all that, and somebody reaches out to you and goes, I want to start a business. You go, man, I just listened to Azgari. Let me send you a link. 10 or 15 minutes could change their life because you heard 2 stories. That person that your family, friend, person you just met, you can impact their life. Why not we do this more often in 2026? So whether it's my podcast or others, go ahead and subscribe, make an impact. And me and Azgari want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have an awesome day, everyone.